Hey coaches, it is Ashton Meyer here, and I am coming to you guys to talk to you about objections today. So we'll see how well my live video feed goes through. Internet's been being ridiculous, and so yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, so quickly, if you don't know who I am a personally sponsored coach of Lindsay Weiss. I'm one of her first diamond coaches, or I am the first diamond coach that she had. And I've been in this business for almost 6 years, and what can I say? I love it. So I want to talk to you guys about objections, because objections to me are just excuses, and I feel like when we learn how to handle them and we learn how to, I want to say actually handle ourselves, we can really start to take objections through not only our post, but also we can learn how to handle them with other people, if that makes any sense. So there's a few tips that I have here in order to talk to you guys about objections. Most of you guys probably hear objections like what? You hear, about the cost. It's too much money, or I don't have the money to do this. Or you hear about the time with like the workouts, or even the time with the business, like I don't have time for that. Those are most likely the two objections that you're going to hear the most. However, there can be other objections or, more specifics regarding it. So let me first tell you this here quickly. When all of us as coaches, we all start off in the month brand new, right? We have something that's called Success Club that we try to strive for, and we try to help as many people as we can, but we all start off brand new. And when you're hungry, you're hungry. Think about it like after a workout, right? If you're hungry, you're hungry. It doesn't matter who or what or when you started. If you're hungry to help people, if you're hungry to build this business, if you're hungry, you're hungry. It's good. You just do the stuff that goes. That's just kind of a little quick thing that I want to say here, because you'll get a lot of people that are like, well, I'm just brand new in this business, or I don't know what I'm doing, or this and that. And if you're hungry, you're hungry. So all coaches deal with objections. All of us do. I guarantee you, Lindsay gets plenty of objections that come at her. I get plenty of objections that come at me, or I get people that just don't respond. And that's the way it is. But it's how you approach these objections that is going to make a big difference in, if they're like, okay. So, first off, let me say one thing. Be very intentional about your social media, okay? If you can throw out objection posts like every other day or 3 times a week, putting objection posts out there. And what I mean by an objection post is that, okay, so for instance, this one day I didn't have enough time to make food. Well, actually, I want to say I was out and about with all the kids, and I didn't think I was going to be as gone as long as I was, and I was starving, okay? I was starving, and I'm on this nutrition where I can't just go and grab fast food and eat it. So I went and grabbed a jumble juice is what it's called. It's like a nutrition, it's got, it's got good stuff in it or whatever. And I took a picture of this jumble juice, which was probably about like this big of the jumbo juice, and it was, I think, almost $5. So I made a post on this about how it's awesome that I do have a place where I can go to grab something quick that is healthy, and then I kind of just talked about the money, but then I brought it back to Shakeology, because I'll hear people that, talk about how it's expensive and this and that. But it's so funny because I can go and grab something that's not as nutritious, not, it just, if you get what I'm saying here. So objection post. Or talking about how if you, like way back when I started, I didn't have the money to sign up as a coach. I wasn't working. I got minimal child support. But yet, the way that I perceived money, the way that I valued money, I used to be able to, I smoked cigarettes, so those are things that I talked about in like objection posts. Like, I used to sit there and think that I couldn't afford things like this. However, I was smoking cigarettes, and so The real thing behind this was the value that I placed in Shakeology versus the value that I placed in smoking. So just think about some of those things while I'm telling you that. Like, think of objections and what you can set out a post for things that you've occurred in your life. Okay, so a lot of times when we go into handling objections, let me tell you this quickly. If you see yourself as a coach and you're like, well, I don't want people to think that I am just selling them something. Like, I don't want to just get into this thing and just see people, like, get out of your head. Shut your mind off. Get out of your head. And if you see yourself like that, that's what's going to portray off. So how you approach yourself, how you approach things in the way that you speak to people. If you start to doubt, like, well, yeah, it kind of is a lot of, you know, I mean, I know it's, if someone tells you, hey, I can't afford this right now, da-da-da-da, this is why, and you're like, yeah, I mean, I know what you mean, da-da-da, and kind of just shy it off, you're not sticking behind the value. So let me talk to you a little bit. First, identify your role, okay? Be a trusted advisor. You're not selling people just a bag of shake. You're not selling people DVDs. You're not selling people just as Beachbody on demand. What you are doing is giving them a full solution to their health and their fitness problems. You're giving them your relationship. You know, that's probably the most valuable thing in this all is the accountability that you give them, the relationship that you provide to them. And then again, it's this whole all over health solution that you're providing them. You're not just selling them Shakeology and DVDs or Shakeology and a workout. So get that out of your head. Know that you are a trusted advisor. You are a relationship. You know, it's like, I don't want to say this is going to sound bad, but it's like you're selling yourself. But we'll just cut that out. But really, like, that's the biggest value of it all. It's not just a shake and it's not just a workout. This is a whole solution that we have available to give to people, which is huge. The biggest value that you give them is you and the relationship and the accountability. So get out of your head that this is just, I'm just going to sell them this and that, and then it's a Success Club point. No. No, you're giving people solutions to a better lifestyle, to a healthy lifestyle, to helping take care of their, you know, to get on track with their diabetes or to lower their blood pressure. Like, when we take care of our bodies, there's so many different things that come into play, and you're providing them with that solution. Next thing, be honest and be upfront. So if you're talking to somebody and you don't have all the answers, don't play it off like, oh, well, no, just be honest and be upfront. So if someone's like, hey, you know, I'm not, you know what, especially for new coaches, I want to say this, like, if you don't know the answer, just, like I said, be honest, be upfront, and be like, hey, you know what, I just started this too. I don't know all the answers. I'm not a nutrition expert. I'm not a fitness expert. But what I do know, what I do know is that this has worked for me, or whatever, maybe, you know, I don't know this answer, but I can try to find something out for you. I'll figure it out. So, that was just a quick side note there. Okay, so I heard this and I had to tell you guys. So when you're in an objection and are like, you know how when I was talking about earlier about how, like, we're like, oh, I don't want to just feel like a salesperson, or I don't want people to think I'm just selling them. You know what? Lead with your fear. So what I mean by that is, if you are already starting to make connections, you're starting to invite people, and you start getting this feeling of, oh, I don't want people to think I'm salesy. Or if they give you an objection, like, I don't have enough time for this, I don't have enough money, and you're like, well, I don't want them to think, I don't want to push it on them because I don't want them to think I'm like salesy. Then lead with your fear. Start to tell people, hey, you know what? I don't want you to think that I'm coming off salesy, because that's the last thing that I'm doing here, but I have this total health solution and package that I feel could really truly benefit your life. And I love helping people, and I love seeing the way that lives have changed with these products. So I'm reaching out to you to see if you would be interested in joining this and creating this whole lifestyle journey for you and your family. Do you or anyone you know may be interested? So lead with that, you know? Like I said, you don't need to know everything. You don't need to, it's all how you approach it. So our job is not to convince every single person that this is for them. Our job, though, I don't like using the job word. I'm sorry, I just don't. But so we're not here to convince every single person that this is going to work for them, because not everybody is going to be like, yes, let's do this, right? We have these objections that come up. What our passion is, what we need to do as coaches is to share our love for the products and share this out to as many people as we can and plant those seeds so that, you know, we speak to those that are interested and we wait for those that maybe aren't ready to come to us when they're ready. So don't feel like you need to convince everyone, like, oh my gosh, you got to do this, you know, like, it's just, don't. Just, you know, you throw it out there. And of course, like I said, when objections do come up, depending on the situation and how you handle it, I don't let somebody just specifically tell me like they don't have enough time or they don't have enough money, because I can relate. So I'll talk about that here in a second. But share the love with people. That's what we are here to do. Hey, Brandy, thank you for hopping on. We are here to share the love with as many people about the products, about why we're doing what we're doing and everything, because then people are going to see that. And with your consistency and you posting out on your social media and you being intentional about sharing your story and sharing other people's stories, everything comes together and every single seed that you plant grows, mostly, right? You keep watering it. I mean, at least that's what I feel like. Okay, so stay consistent day in and day out with your intentional post about your story and objection posts and all of that stuff. So there's this one thing that I heard, it was from Danny Johnson. I don't know if it originally came from her, but she always said, facts tell, stories sell. Okay? So when you have an objection come up, you know, I don't have the money for this. What can you speak of? So are you someone who originally maybe thought, okay, maybe I can't afford this? Or do you know of somebody in the team that thought that? Because like I said, I did. Like when Lindsay came to me about getting on Shakeology and stuff, and I'm just like, I can't afford this. You know, I didn't have a job. I had little child support coming in. But again, I smoked cigarettes. I would put aside $20 to like a month to go gamble. So all these things add up, right? So, I mean, I can relate to someone and just be like, you know what? I'm sorry that you're going through a rough situation right now. I used to feel the same way. You know, or I used to, not maybe the same way, but I used to be in a similar situation. I used to think that exact same thing, that I couldn't afford this or I didn't have enough time to do this. But then when I really started to play out the value in this, and I saw myself sitting here smoking cigarettes or spending money on things that didn't need to be spent on, and then I decided to place value on my life and on my health versus other things that I thought that I needed, I realized that I could afford this, that I could make this effective in my life, because going out to eat is way more expensive and 100 times unhealthier than what this was doing for me. And then it caused this chain reaction to me to better my life in all the areas, that I've become a better parent, that I've become a better, you know, maybe you're a spouse, so a better wife or a better husband, like that I've become a better friend or a better leader. Like these are things to speak about to people when they're telling you about those objections, that you can relate to them. You don't have to defend it. You don't have to attack it. You just need to have, you know, me too situations. Like me too, I felt the same way. Like I felt that way. And it wasn't until I switched my mentality about this and this and this. So share your story about how you felt and how you overcame those objections. Or tell a story about another coach who was in that similar path where they felt like that. And because we've got a lot of coaches, there were a lot of coaches that didn't feel like they could start this. I know coaches who took out a loan just to originally get started, or coaches that didn't pay a certain bill on time just to get set up for coaching and getting their health and fitness started, because they knew that if they plugged in and they started working on themselves and they started working on the business, that everything else would come into play. Their health, their life, and a grow in their income. They could build this. So, facts tell, stories sell. Share stories. So continue to do that and everything. So I don't want to go on and on and on about this, but I have in my Evernote, and I'm sure Lindsay has somewhere too, about different ways that you can handle objections and stuff. One of the best ones that I've come across is going through one of Josh Coates' trainings, and he really just hit it hard. But when you can relate to someone and you can share your story or share someone else's story about the objections, it definitely just, I'm telling you, like I said in the beginning, if you're hungry, right? You're going to make it happen. So, objections to me are excuses. Mentality is huge. So, it's how you handle yourself. How do you perceive yourself? And, trying to think if there's one last point here. Remember, last thing, I said this. Remember this. You're not selling people a bag of shake and DVDs. This is a whole lifestyle situation and package that you are providing for people for a solution. This is a solution to their health and a relationship with you. This is something that somebody can grow in their life to become better financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever you want to say, because I've seen all of those things happen in my life, that I know that if anybody else got in this situation and took it seriously, because you can give people this solution, but they have the option to decide to do something with it or not. But if they take it seriously and they go for it and they let go of excuses, their life will change. No doubt in my mind. So anyways, get ready to handle objections. So you know what? I want you guys to make a huge list of people, especially if you're new. Make a huge list of people that you want to see their life transform, that you want to see their life go from blah to yay, and reach out to them. Make that list, reach out to them, and share how you felt if you get an objection. That's kind of like your little challenge for the week and week. So I'm going to let it go there. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon.